So now we create here a reference for our database, and also we create a function called create data. So this we will going to have a reference to our database, which is box.db. So which means that we already have a box which is called box underscore db. However, we can't use it directly, so that's why we have a reference to our box. So that's why we call this function dot box. So here in the line 19 to 23, we have a function called create data. So this function will going to create a data, obviously. So here we have a map for our data. So we just print out whatever value or data has been added to our database. So that's why if we're going to test that out, if we're going to add another like first name and then last name, if we're going to add that, we're going to print out the length of our box or data or the value that inside in our box. So next we're going to create we're going to retrieve the data or the names that we have in our box or our database. So now we created a get data function here. So first thing is we add a variable called is loading with a value of false, and then here we have a list called items. So this is an empty list. So we're going to put the or get we're going to use this to as a placeholder for our data. So this function called get data, the functionality for this is going to get the data that we created from our box or from our database. So here we have data, so we will going to get that, and we use a map to map the data from the database that we have or from the box. And then we will going to set that data or we're going to set this data to our items. So we will going to reverse our data. So here we will going to set this data in the set state. Well, I mean, we are going to set the is loading as well to true. And then here in this line of code where we're going to disable or we are going to set our is loading to false. And then we are going to override our init state, and we will going to supply the function here, which is the get data, not get date. It's not supposed to get data. Here's this get data. Yeah, get data. So get data and get data. So there. And then here in we will going to override the dispose function, and we will going to dispose the controller that we have, which is the first name and last name controller. So here in the scaffold, in our scaffold, we add a body. So if the is loading is true, the this widget called circular progress indicator will activated. And then if or else the is loading is false, I mean is yeah, the if it's false, then we will going to display the this one, this list view dot builder widget. So here we will going to count the items that we have, which is the items or the list items that we have here. So this one. So we're going to count that or the total length. And then for the item builder, we will going to return a list of tiles, and then we are going to access or get the first name and last name as our title for the list tile. So for the subtitle, we will going to supply that with a button or the outline button, and we wrap this outline button with a row so that we have a multiple button here in the subtitle for the list tile widget. So there, that's how we get our data or retrieve our data and display the data in our application. So next, we're going to put a functionality for delete a button and update button.